Hey guys, it's Alex with another video. This one we're going to go over how to make juicing, how it's my system for actually doing it. A lot of complaints about juicing is that it's pretty tedious because you have to do all this preparation and chop all the stuff up and make the juice and then washing it. And if you've seen Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, he was doing the juicing every day. And some people talk about doing that. Mike Cernovich made a ebook called Fit Juice, and he's got a website, so he's got a lot of different recipes. The one I've been doing is just called the Real V8. This is actually 7 ingredients. We'll show those in a second. So the only thing is I don't use the ginger just because I don't really have a good reason. So this is the Breville juicer. I'll put a link in the description. I got this from one of my girlfriend's relatives because she was never using it, and I had read about the juicing from Mike Cernovich, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't one of those guys that got some kind of appliance and it just sits in the corner gathering dust. So I've been consistently juicing for about 2 years, and it's a really good way to ensure that you're actually eating enough vegetables because, again, when you take a look at all this, that's a lot of produce, and physically eating all that's going to, it's not possible if you're going to be eating normal food too. So it's a way to, it takes the fiber out and it kind of helps just fill in the micronutrients that you may not be getting through your normal diet. This is a tedious process, but this is my process for making it less of a pain in the butt, because the whole process with shopping and chopping it up and making the juice takes about 2 hours, but I do 2 weeks worth at a time, so that's not as bad as if you're doing it every day. A very short, easier version to do the same kind of thing is I have Athletic Greens here. This is the same kind of concept where it's basically, think of it like protein powder but for vegetables, where it just kind of fills in all the micronutrients that you may not be getting. It's I think it's 30 some bucks for 30, a month's worth, so it's a pretty cheap way to, pretty low effort, get your nutrients in. So if you do a protein shake, or you can just mix it with water and just drink that. So that's another option for those of you that aren't willing to take this, because this is a tedious process, so I don't recommend it for everybody. But if you want to do it, this is my system for making it less of a pain. So if you want to come closer. So the recipe I use is based off Mike Cernovich's, but it's a 2-week batch at a time. So I have 10 pounds of carrots. I cut off the stem and a little bit of the tip. I got 2 stalks of celery. Again, you cut off the leaves. This part, you can cut off, you don't have to. I have 3 cucumbers. I use half in each. Green apples. The bag of 3 pounds of apples work better, but buying individual apples just is a way to kind of fill in, since I ran out for my last batch. I had 3 left. So, and then I have 6 lemons. I peel them ahead of time. 6 beets. The beets are smaller than I would normally like. The bigger ones are probably roughly the same size as the apple, ideally. And then 6 tomatoes. The grocery stores sell sometimes tomatoes on the vine. I like to buy the individual ones because you get a little bit more juice, and the vine ones you usually get 4, and just for the math to work, it's easier to just do it this way. And then over here I'll show you the other part. So some people use mason jars. I drink a lot of flavored water, so what I use these, and it's pretty easy because I drink this, and I'll do another video talking about the benefits of flavored water. But I use this as the container for the V8 because, so what I'll do, as you can see, I've got the funnel here, so we'll make the juice, it goes into the cup, and then you pour the cup into the funnel so it doesn't spill, since it's a tiny opening, and then it fills up, and then I drink half of a bottle a day, so I have 6 to 7 bottles depending on how much juice I get out of the vegetables. It's going to fluctuate. It's usually 6, but whatever. Just have a greens shake on the 7th day for the 2 weeks. It's fine. And then, from my experience, 2 weeks is about how long the stuff, you can maybe stretch it to a 3rd week if you don't drink it every day. But beyond that, you're going to want to freeze it. It works just fine. if it's in the freezer. It's gonna taste watered down, but it shouldn't be an issue. So anyway, let's get started. We'll kind of show you what one round looks like. So I'll do 6 of filling this up and pouring it in the bottle. So what I start with is I grab 1 lemon, 1 beet, 1 tomato, 1 apple, half of a cucumber. So if it's not perfectly even, you just kind of eyeball it. It's not an exact science. And then, so I start with those, and then from there I do like a handful of celery. So that's 4 to 6 stalks, depending on how much you have and how big the stalks are. So what I do is I cut that in half. You want to get closer. So I cut that in half. And then after that, I just kind of grab carrots and fill it up till the cup is full. So we'll show that in a second. So I'm gonna not have it be loud. I'll cut out the audio and do music. So this is what the juicing actually looks like. So I do the beets and the lemons first. So then we just fill it in with carrots. Okay, so you fill that up, and then, as you can probably, if you get close, you can see, this fills up as you grind the vegetables, so you're going to want to empty it out between each round, otherwise it's just going to jam up and you can't keep going. So, you take the top off, put the bar down, and then you want to be careful with this, because if you're not careful it can just make a big mess. But so the easiest way I found is use a bag, like one of the produce bags, and then you take the top off carefully. Okay, that one wasn't as good because sometimes the stuff sticks to the top, but what you do is kind of shake it there and then use the bag as a glove to kind of scrape a lot of the food off and just spin it around there. And then with this, there's going to be a little bit of juice in here, so you want to lift it off carefully, tilt it, and you can see the extra juice coming out. And then I like to, if you can push this out to get it out of the way, to make dumping this stuff out pretty easy. You're going to get a little bit on your hand, but not a big deal. So, and then again, just going to shake it, and then use the glove bag to clear that out. So, and you don't need to be 100%, there's still like scraps in there, but it'll work. There's a level of efficiency you need with this too. So we'll set that back up. And so that's ready for another round. So then we'll show you the other part where we put the lid on, and then we'll come over here and just come like over my shoulder. So then what you do, I have the cup there for a reason. So you just pour this in, and the lid's nice, or the gap is nice, so you can pour it in gradually. And then as you can see, it's filling up. And there's some foam in there There's some liquid in there, so I'll explain that in a second. So what I like to do, tilt it back, you can get a little more juice. Some of the other juicing models that are popular get more juice out, but they take longer, so this one's like I think $90 or something like that. So anyway, so then I like to rinse this out, get the next bottle ready, and then with this, you pour it into a cup and then rinse it out, and then that's going to be ready for another round too. So that's ready to go. So then with the cup here, after you do all your juicing, you're going to end up with, I don't know what that is, like a shot or whatever, a little bit of juice you can drink, and then there'll be a bunch of foam on top that you can just, I don't drink it, you can just throw it away. But if you want to get that little extra juice, you know, that's why I have the cup here. So anyway, so I'll have my lovely camera assistant just set it on the tripod, and we'll just do a time lapse of me doing the next batch of the juicing, but that's how you do it. Turbo time! So, as you can see, we got 6 bottles, and over here, all the stuff got used up. Depending on how much juice you get out of all the vegetables and stuff, you might have a few carrots or whatever left over, because sometimes the tomatoes or the cucumbers or apples, or you get more juice out of them. It's going to fluctuate, but in general, you're going to get 6 bottles. So you just drink that. I drink half of one of these a day, so I spread it out. Some people like to drink more or less, but the point is just to get more vegetables in your diet, so you don't need to go crazy with a ton. And if you think about how much juice is in each of what bottle, that's a decent serving of vegetables. And then, as you can see in the bottom here, there's a little bit of juice. If you let this sit overnight, you'll get a little bit more, but more or less, you get some. So depending on how much you get, if you want to be OCD and fill up the rest of the bottles, otherwise you can just drink it. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you have tips about how to be more efficient with juicing, feel free to let me know in the comments. See you next time.